To begin with, I section the hair that lies above my ears, and I'm going to incorporate it into my updo at the very last moment. Now you need to pick a strand of hair that lies behind the section or behind your fringe and create a twist. So you basically split the section in two parts and loosely twist them around each other, just like this. You want to catch a tiny strand of hair at the end of this twist and holding it in one hand, pull the hair surrounding this strand toward your roots. This procedure is going to compress our curls and create a tiny bun. You only have to secure it in place. Now you can pick a strand of hair right next to the first one and repeat the same procedure. You want to be adding new sections to this updo until you incorporate all the hair into your hairstyle. There are two things you need to know about this technique. The first one is that you don't want to twist your hair too tightly. The twist should stay rather loose. And the second thing is that when you pull those ends toward the roots, you don't want to apply much pressure to your hair. This way your curls can do all the work for you. Your main objective is to keep an eye on the entire volume and make sure it's well balanced. So let's move on to the following section. When you're working on the outermost section, make sure to even out the bumps before securing your hair in place. If you plan to wear a headband, now is the best moment to put it on. After that, you can incorporate the loose strands of hair into your updo so that they cover the headband and match the rest of the hair. Spray your hair with a hairspray, and there you have your beautiful. Initially I got very tight and bouncy curls, but since I've been filming tutorials all day, and this is the last tutorial, they got quite relaxed over time. Normally, if I wouldn't be putting them in all sorts of different updos, they would last much longer. You grab 4 strands of hair, and you bring strand 1 under strand 2 and over strand 3. You bring strand 4 over strand 3 and under strand 2. And then you add some extra hair to strand 1 and bring it under strand 2 and over strand 3. But now you want to release the first strand, replace it with a new strand of hair, and just like before, bring it over strand 3 and under strand 2. Then again, you need to add some extra hair to strand 1 and bring it under strand 2 and over strand 3. So these are the steps that you want to repeat many times. You release strand 4, replace it with a new strand of hair, and bring it over and under. You add some hair to strand 1 and bring it under and over. You release, you replace, over, under. You add and you bring it under and over, and so on. When you get to the back of your head, you can finally secure your braid with a tiny elastic band. And what I also like to do here is to tag on the top segments of my braid, sometimes also on the bottom ones, just to bring out the texture of my braid. That's what your hair should look like once you're done. I'm just in love with it. I could wear it every single day, especially with curls. And now I'm going to create my bun. So I grab a strand of hair at the back of my head, loosely twist it, and then secure it in place, leaving the ends loose. At first the bobby pin will be visible, but we're going to cover it with the following strands of hair. Next I'm going to grab the bottom layers of my hair and incorporate them into my bun. Here, for the time being, I don't want to use those strands of hair that I was releasing from my braid, only the bottom layers. And if the ends appear too long, I'm going to pin them in place as well. I do the same thing on the other side, so I loosely twist this section, place it over my bun, and secure it in place. And if your hair is much longer and thicker, feel free to replace this bun with a different type of a bun, which is more suitable for long hair. You can find plenty of ideas on my channel. Finally, I can take care of those loose strands of hair that I was releasing from my braid. I place them over my bun and secure in place with hairpins or bobby pins. Unfortunately, that's when my camera stopped recording this video. I didn't realize it till much later on, but I think you've got the idea. To it. My main secret to get very beautiful curls is starting to roll my hair from the ends. Not from the mid-length, not from the roots, always from the ends. I place the end of the section at the further end of the curler and then roll my hair toward the other side of the roller. To secure the roller in place, I simply bend its ends downwards. Then I can move on to the following section. I roll them all in the same manner, starting from the top layers. This way it's more easy and comfortable. Once the top layers are taken care of, I can move on to the bottom layers, and here you may want to have either 2 or 3 rows of curlers. My own hair is very thin, so for me 2 rows is enough. Here you can see the complete roller setting from either side of my head and from the back. Now I could go to sleep and wake up with beautiful curls. I like to wear a hairnet over my rollers to make sure that they stay in place and also to avoid eventual frizziness. These curlers are very soft and comfortable to sleep on, creating a simply wonderful cushion. But of course, if you need to get some instant curls like me today, you can dry your hair with a hair dryer. Before removing your rollers, you want to make sure that your hair is totally dry, otherwise the curls won't last even an hour. And now to remove the curler, I simply straighten its ends and unroll the hair. Initially, each roller will produce a single, very tight and bouncy curl that I will need to work on. I will need to transform it into multiple, much more natural looking curls. So I split tiny strands of hair from this curl and twist them around my finger. This allows me to avoid frizziness. I remove the curlers in the opposite order that I was applying them. So I start with the bottom layers and I move on to the top ones. I find these curls very long-lasting. In dry weather, they last me a couple of days, literally from one wash to another. Of course, they relax over time, so if you'd like to keep them as bouncy for as long as possible, you could additionally spray them with a hairspray. So this is the result. And now that my hair is curly, I can proceed to the actual hairstyle. I'm going to grab the top layers of my hair and section them off my way for the time being. I divide my bottom layers in 3 equal sections, grab the first one and loosely twist it. I twist it only halfway through, leaving the ends loose, and tug on the sides of my twist to give it a nice fluffy texture. Next, I'm going to arrange this hair into a tiny messy bun, leaving the ends loose, and pin it in place with bobby pins. And of course, if your hair is much longer and thicker, you may want to twist it much more tightly than I do. You only need to make sure that you leave the ends loose. I'm going to repeat the same procedure with the section at the back of my head. So I'm going to loosely twist it, tug on the sides of this twist, and pin the section in place. I ended up securing it a bit too high up, so I'm going to tug on the bottom strands of this twist to bring it lower down. I do the same thing once again with the remaining strands of hair, and I'm done with my bottom layers. Now I can release my top layers and do the same thing. So here I create my first twist and arrange it into a loose messy bun, leaving the ends loose. Looking in the second mirror, I find the best position to secure it, and then I pin it in place with bobby pins. After that, this hairstyle is complete. Feel free to further accessorize it with a decorative flower or a headband. Here you can see me wearing a big bow headband for kind of a retro glam. I'm going to use a strand of hair that lies right behind my ear to create a fishtail braid. For the time being, I'm going to secure the front section of hair so that it doesn't get in my way. My fishtail braid is going to be a reversed fishtail, simply because in this position I find it the easiest to create. I think you already saw me creating fishtails so many times in the past that you already know the technique, but for those of you who need a quick reminder, you pick a thin strand of hair from the edge and bring it to the other side underneath. You pick a thin strand of hair from the other edge and you bring it to the other side underneath. You pick and you cross. 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 When you cross the strands over the section, you create a regular fishtail braid, while when you bring them underneath, you create a reversed fishtail. For this braid, I'm going to use only my own very thin hair, so no extensions are incorporated into this braid, and that's why it's going to be very thin initially. Luckily, I can transform it, tugging on its sides. So I pull the braid apart to make it appear wider. The easiest approach is divide and conquer, so you don't want to braid all the way down to the ends. You want to braid for a couple of inches and then tug on the sides of the braid. Then braid again, and then tug again, and so on. That's the approximate length of the braid you want to create, even if your hair is much longer. And then you want to tie the ends with a small elastic band. Now I'm going to release the section of hair that I secured in the beginning and bring it to the back. I'll secure it together with a section of hair from the other side of my head using a small elastic. Again, here I used only my own hair. Next, I'm going to flip my tiny ponytail through the hole above the elastic band to create a tiny twist. And again, since my hair is very thin, I'm going to tug on the sides of this twist, just so that it appears thicker. So if your hair is naturally thick, your twist will be much more beautiful than mine. Now I can grab my braid and bring it to the other side of my head. I'm going to secure it over there using a couple of bobby pins, and I'll hide the ends under the twist. You could simply direct them inward and leave loose. This gives us the first bohemian hairstyle. It is suitable for shorter hair, and of course it's great for those who like to show off the length of their hair while keeping it away from their face. Now you can grab the remaining hair and put it into pretty much any kind of a braid. Today I'm going to show you a version with a 4-strand braid. In one of my previous videos I've shown you how to create a chain braid, and here I'll use the exact same technique, just that I'll replace the chain with a thin strand of hair. The strand is going to be the second from the left. And to create my braid, I grab strand number 4 and bring it over strand 3 and under strand 2. Strand 2 is the thinnest strand. Now it's in the 3rd position. Then I bring the first strand under the 2nd one and over the 3rd. The 4th strand goes over the 3rd one and under the 2nd one. The 1st strand goes under the 2nd one and over the 3rd one. So it's always over, under, under, over, over, under, under, and over. And you repeat the steps till the very end. Just make sure to position the thin strand at the 2nd position from the left and start braiding from the right. And one last step. To bring out the shape of this braid even more, I'm going to tag on its edges, just like I always do to make my braid appear fuller. Feel free to replace this braid with any of your favorite braids. It can be a 3-strand braid, a fishtail braid, a 5-strand braid in case you're ambitious, or any braid that you like. So here's the result. This hairstyle is perfectly versatile, suitable for pretty much any occasion. And now if you're a real bohemian girl, you can... I'm going to grab the first section of hair that lies above my ear and create a twist. It's just a regular twist, nothing special. And since my own hair is very thin, it's also going to be very thin. But I'm going to transform it. So you can see me tagging on the sides of my twist and getting a very nice texture. I simply have to pin this twist in place with a bobby pin. Now I can do the same procedure on the other side. So I grab a strand of hair and start twisting it. And then again I tag on the sides of my twist to give it that soft, loose, a kind of a messy texture. I'm going to secure this twist right under the first one. And one more time, I grab another strand of hair from the sides and create the following twist. This twist should be attached right under the 2 previous ones. One more twist and we're done with this part of the tutorial. This is a nice half up, half down hairstyle for pretty much any hair length. And if your hair is much shorter than mine, I recommend you to additionally curl it. Of course, long hair can be curled as well, but short hair will benefit from it even more. For the following hairstyle, I'm going to simply divide my hair in 2 equal parts and create a regular fishtail braid. So I grab a thin strand of hair from the left and bring it over to the other side. I add it to the right section. Then I grab a thin strand of hair from the right and bring it over, adding it to the left section. And again, I pick a thin strand of hair and I bring it over to the other side. I pick a thin strand of hair and I bring it over to the other side. If you find it hard to fishtail braid your hair, you could create a regular 3-strand braid. There's nothing wrong with it. You could also create a 4-strand braid, a 5-strand braid, because believe me, even a 5-strand braid will be much faster to create than a fishtail. I decided to go with a fishtail because it's perfect for the following hairstyle, but if you don't plan to put your hair into a bun, this can be any braid. As I always like to do with my braids, I'm going to spend a moment tugging on the edges of my fishtail to soften it up and volumize it. I braid my hair till the ends, making sure to tug on the sides of the braid as I go, and then I tie the ends with a small elastic. This gives us the second bohemian hairstyle. The third one is going to be the easiest one, because you simply want to grab your braid and twist it around its base. You secure your braid with hairpins or bobby pins, using as many of them as you need, because sometimes you need to use quite a few of them. And then your hairstyle is complete. This look is going to be perfect for upcoming holidays and any special events. Let me know in the comments if you're going to try out any of this. So, as usual, the first thing I want to do is section the hair I'll use to create my braid. It's going to be a narrow section of hair above my ears. I'll basically keep some hair in front for the last moment and the hair at the back for the bun. Now we're going to create a regular Dutch braid. So grab 3 thin strands of hair. Start as if you wanted to create a regular braid. Place the outer strands under the middle one. Actually, if your hair is much longer than mine, you could create a regular 3-strand braid, all the way down to your ends. But here, since my hair is medium length, I'll start adding extra hair to my braid. I bring the left strand in the middle and add some loose hair to this strand. I bring the right strand in the middle and I add some loose hair to this strand. And so on. We cross and we add. We cross and we add. When I feel that my hair is long enough to create a regular braid that will reach the back of my head, I stop adding extra hair and braid normally. Now it's time to make this braid look trendy. So we're going to tug on the sides of our braid to loosen it up and make it look soft, voluminous and beautiful. Can you see the difference? I think it's quite impressive. So, now we only need to braid the hair all the way down to the ends, volumize our braid and tie the ends with a small elastic. The next step is optional, but to add that extra glamorous touch to this hairstyle, I'm going to tease the hair on top of my head. So I pick a strand of hair and carefully backcomb it near the roots, only near the roots. Then I grab the following strand and repeat the same procedure, and so on. I can braid my hair to the back and even out the surface. Next, I want to secure the top sections of my hair into a tiny cute ponytail. Your hair should look something like this. If you don't tie your hair too tightly, you can still loosen it up and add some extra volume to it. And now a small trick. We want to flip this ponytail upwards and secure it with bobby pins above the elastic band. This is one of my favorite techniques to create very interesting half-updo hairstyles. But we'll go on and create an updo. We want to incorporate all the hair into a kind of a loose bun, creating multiple twists. So pick a first strand of hair at the back of your head and loosely twist it. Usually I create a kind of a tight twist at first and then tug on its sides to loosen it up. This way I can control the amount of volume I create. You want to secure the ends of this twist right above the elastic band and under the ends of your tiny ponytail. Grab the following strand of hair right next to the first one and repeat the same procedure. Twist it, tug on this twist to loosen it up and secure it in place. Now we can attach our braid. Curly ends will blend in perfectly with the bun. The sections at the sides of your head are the most important. So here you want to look in the second mirror to find the best place to secure your twist. take care of the front sections of hair. To give this hairstyle a very soft and relaxed touch, I'm going to leave a couple of strands to frame my face. Then I bring the remaining hair to the back, find the most flattering position to secure it, and pin it in place. Set your hair with a generous amount of a hairspray, and voila, your hair is everyday look. You could find a headband that matches the color of your hair. Then it would stay practically invisible without attracting unnecessary attention. Unless it's what you want, of course. I simply grab a strand of my hair and wrap it around this headband so that it's covered with hair. Next, I pick the following strands of hair and repeat the same procedure. Finally, I do the same thing on the other side, and then my first hairstyle is complete. I also recommend you to secure your hair above the headband so that it stays secure and doesn't slip off your head. The next hairstyle is based on a 4-strand braid. So I pick 4 strands of hair behind my ear, leaving some of my hair loose. I bring the leftmost strand under the 2 neighboring strands, reverse the direction, and bring it over the strand to its left. As a result, it's going to be on the second position from the left. I bring the rightmost strand under the 2 neighboring strands, reverse the direction, and bring it over the strand to its right. As a result, it's going to be the second strand from the right. I'm going to repeat the steps many times, but I'll start adding some extra hair to my outermost strands. So I add some loose hair to the leftmost strand, and then bring it under the 2 neighboring strands and over the strand to its left. I add some loose hair to the rightmost strand, and bring it under the 2 strands, and over the strand to its right. If we number the strands 1, 2, 3, and 4, starting from the left, we can see the steps as bringing strand 1 under strands 2 and 3, and over strand 3. Then you grab strand 4, bring it under strands 2 and 3, and over strand 2. That's the braid you're going to obtain. And now, if you want to make it look even bigger, messier, and trendier, you're going to pull on the sides of your braid. Just like this. It's just the perfect technique to volumize your hair if it doesn't have the necessary volume. That's what your hair should look like once you're done. And now I'm going to show you the technique I created to obtain a similar look, but using only 3 strands of hair. So I grab strand 1 and bring it under strand 2 and over strand 2. I basically wrap strand 1 around the second strand. I grab strand 3 and bring it under strand 2 and over strand 2. In other words, I simply wrap the rightmost strand around the middle strand. As a result of these manipulations, you can tell that the first strand always stays at the first position and the third strand always stays at the third position. So I go under and over, under and over. And of course, the most important step here is to tug on the edges of your braid. Once it's done, no one will guess how you created your hairstyle, and everyone will be asking you how you did it. is curled, I'm going to move on to the following stage. I'm going to tease the hair in the crown of my head, above my hair extensions, to make it look more formal and glamorous. This step is actually optional, so if you want to dress down your hairstyle for less formal and more casual events, you could totally skip this step. But as far as my teasing is concerned, to make the entire process much easier, I'm using this powder. It's called Super Dust from L'Oreal Professional. I sprinkle it onto the roots of my hair and then tease it. This powder helps to at once texturize my hair and secure the entire teasing in place. Alternatively, you could just tease each section near the roots and then spray it with a hairspray. The powder simply makes the entire process more simple and efficient. So I tease only my own hair above the extensions, and then I get this crazy hair volume. Now I can bring this hair to the back and smooth out the surface. I glide over the surface with my teasing brush without brushing my hair through. This is very important because you don't want to destroy all the volume you just created. At this point, you could actually attach all your top layers into a half updo to create that glamorous retro Brigitte Bardot look. And you know, sometimes it happens to me that I curl my hair, that I tease it, and then I just don't want to go on with the hairstyle because I feel like my hair just couldn't get any better than that. Because my natural hair is super straight, super thin, super flat, so this kind of a look with simply voluminous hair is my dream look. But don't worry, I'm going to proceed with today's look, and I'll attach the top layers of my hair with a small elastic band. And now comes the most interesting part. I'll grab a strand of hair right behind my ear and simply twist it. This kind of a twist is totally boring, flat, and nothing interesting. So we're going to transform it into something much more beautiful. The good news are that it's very simple. You need to tug on the sides of your twist to make it more loose, soft, and voluminous. I'm going for that irregular, swirly texture. As I pull out the hair with my left hand, I hold it rather lightly with my right hand. Otherwise, it will be simply difficult to pull out the hair. Now I'm going to secure this hair in place with a couple of bobby pins, inserting them from the inside so that they stay invisible. Next, I'm going to grab a strand of hair right under the first twist and create my second twist. So just as before, I firstly simply twist my hair and then pull out some strands of hair from this twist. I'm going to secure this twist right under the first one and create one more twist. And once the third twist is secured right under the first two, we're almost done. To finish off this hairstyle in the most flattering manner, I'm going to grab the ends of my top twists and twist them again. This time I'll do something different. So of course I'll firstly loosen up my twist, I'll tug on its sides, but then I'll arrange it into a kind of a twisted bun. So I wrap this hair around its base to create a kind of a twisted flower, and then secure it in place with bobby pins. As usual, I insert them from the inside and I cross them over so that they hold very well. Once it's done, you're ready to go. If you want, you can further decorate this hairstyle, and for example, you could use those sparkling twisting accessories. I like them quite a lot because I find them really classy, timeless, and kind of discreet. And if you're in the mood for something super trendy, why not put your hair into a big side braid? It's a kind of a French braid, so we grab 3 strands of hair, we start placing the outer strands over the middle one, and then we add some loose hair from the sides to the middle strand. So we bring the right strand in the middle, and we add some hair from the right to the middle strand. We bring the left strand in the middle, and we add some hair from the left to the middle strand. We cross, and we add. We cross, and we add, and so on. As usual, I'm going to tug on the sides of my braid to volumize it, and then I'll tie the ends with a small elastic. That's the finished look,